I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today.
You was bony and looking too funny today.
I don't care, niggas still made chase. Let's go. I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today.
You was bony and looking too funny today.
I don't care, niggas still made chase. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Chatting with Cheese podcast. And I'm your host, Fat Cheese. First and foremost, I want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. Now, this episode not going to be posted actually on Mother's Day. It's probably going to be like a day late, but I still just want to give a shout out to all the moms. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. Enjoy it with the family or with the kids. However y'all want to enjoy it. I just hope that it's a good and special day. Y'all deserve it. I want to welcome everybody back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the content. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. We at 60. We on our way to 100 subscribers. And I was kind of thinking the other day, just to myself, that once I hit 100 subscribers on YouTube and 100 followers on my Instagram, I may decide to come back and do like a little giveaway or something like that. Just something special for the people that's been supporting me so far on this on my journey so far with the podcast and everything like that. So be on the lookout for that. This is episode 5. Not going to be too long of an episode today. Just going to talk about some topics during the week that's been going on, and I'm going to speak on. I just actually finished wrapping up watching that Knicks and Pacers game, so I'm going to speak on that a little bit, so I ain't going to keep y'all for too long today, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. First topic I want to speak on, I've been seeing it all week. Earlier this week, MVP was announced. Nikola Jokic winning his 3rd NBA MVP. Congratulations to Joker. And there was a little controversy behind it. You had Shaq and Charles going back and forth on TNT, and then later on in the week you had Shannon and Shaq getting into it because I think something was said about maybe Shaq being jealous of Jokic for winning MVP and all that. But one thing I can say about Shaq, and I give him his kudos, is Shaq has been abundantly clear that he felt that SGA should be the MVP this season. I respect him for saying it to Jokic. I don't think Shaq meant it in a disrespectful way. I just think Shaq, he just feel like SGA should have won and believe it. There's a lot of people that believe SGA should have won the MVP. I don't think it comes from jealousy. I don't think it comes from that. And maybe Shannon didn't mean it that way. But, I mean, the way it came off, I could kind of understand why Shaq took some offense to it. I don't feel there's a reason for Shaq to be jealous of Nikola Jokic. Everybody knows Shaq is the most dominant big man to ever play the game and is one of the greatest players of all time. Some people he's in their top 10. Some people he's in the top 5. However you want to place him, when you think of all-time great top 10 NBA players, Shaq is going to be in there. So I don't feel like it came from a place of jealousy or anything like that. He just stated his opinion. Like I said, Nikola Jokic had a great year. I said earlier in some episodes back that I felt he was going to win the MVP. He had a solid year, giving you 26 points a game, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and he played 79 games this season, which is great, especially coming off of winning the championship last year. For him to come back and play 79 games, he almost averaged a triple-double throughout the whole season. But that's just what Jokic do. I mean, I understand why the voters, voted for Jokic to win. Denver went through a plethora of injuries this year. And then, like I said, on top of that, you got to remember they're coming off of winning the NBA championship. A lot of times you see players come off winning NBA championships. They kind of take a dip, or they may not have the same season that they had the year prior. For Jokic to come back after that, play 79 games, average 26 points, 12 rebounds, basically almost average a triple-double. I think that's amazing. I don't think there should be any type of disrespect towards Nikola Jokic. He absolutely deserved to win the MVP. I don't think it was given to him. Me personally, I'm gonna get into it in a little bit, but he deserved it. I don't want nobody to slight him. That's just what I'm gonna say. I don't think he should be slighted. He deserved to win it. He had a great season. Like I said, they're coming off of winning the NBA championship. He came back and basically remained the same player that he's been for the last few seasons. That's his third MVP, so he's tied with Moses Malone with 3 MVPs. So, like I said, congratulations to Jokic. Now, regarding SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he had a phenomenal season. And if you feel like Shai Gilgeous should have won the MVP, I have no argument with that. He gave you 30 points a game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He played 75 games this season, and he led the Thunder to their first number 1 seed since the 2012-2013 season. Now, this is my thing. When people try to use the record, he was the number 1 seed. I understand that, but you got to understand they just owned the tiebreaker over Denver. Them and Denver actually finished with the same record. So that's why I'm saying, it's kind of like, you got your 1A and your 1B. Some people the voters just put Jokic as they 1A. Shout out to Shai Gilgeous. You had an amazing season, bro. Like I said, it could have went either way. But I understand where Shaq was coming from with his argument about Shai. But I'm also not mad at the fact that Jokic won either. So I kind of see it from both sides. But this is where I'm gonna have my pushback, because honestly, it was an argument about Shai and Joker when Luka should have been in that conversation. Me personally, if I had my pick, I think Luka Doncic should have won MVP this year. And I kind of feel like Luka has been getting the short end of the stick for the last couple of years as far as the MVP. Look at this season. He gave you 34 points a game. He gave you 9.8 assists. He gave you 9.2 rebounds. He also almost averaged a triple-double throughout the whole season. Also, while playing 70 games. Everybody know, if you watch any Dallas Mavericks game, Luka is the motor of that team. Like, he's phenomenal. He can do everything. May not be the best as far as defensively, but as far as offensively, on the offensive side of the ball, Luka can do everything. I'm talking about he can facilitate, he can shoot, he can orchestrate the offense. He can do everything there is pick and roll, lob it up to his big man. There's nothing on the floor Luka can do. You foul him, not the best free throw shooter, but he's capable of going to the line and making his free throws. I just feel like if I had my pick, I feel like Luka should have won the MVP. I'm not upset that Jokic won it, but like I said, that would be me if I had my choice. As far as if you look at his stats just going off just based off of last year, all his stats have improved from last year. You got his besides I think like 1, but his 3-point percentage went up from last year. I think his field goal percentage might have went up from last year. All his stats besides a couple went up from the year prior. And last year he averaged 32 points a game and still didn't win. So like I said, I just feel like Luka has been getting slighted these past couple of years. I feel like that Luka definitely should be he's gonna do the same thing next year. Every year Luka's gonna be in the conversation for MVP just because he means so much to that team as far as the stuff that he can do on the floor. If Luka comes out there and have an off game, you see it in the team, because more than likely they either gonna get blown out or they're gonna look lost out there without that. That's how much Luka means to that team. So if I had my pick, I feel like I would have gave it to Luka. Shouts out to SGA for the incredible year you've had, bro. You young, so you got plenty of years left to win it. And shout out to Nikola Jokic, 3rd MVP. That's great. Sure ballot Hall of Famer. And like I said, who knows? He can get another one or two before it's all said and done. Another thing with that subject, I feel like nowadays, a lot of stuff is based on storylines. Like let's be honest, if we really talking, would you think they would rather want the storylines to say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Luka Doncic win their first MVP, or Nikola Jokic wins his 3rd MVP, ties with Moses Malone? That's just the storyline. So like I said, I'm gonna leave that topic alone. I understand where Shaq coming from, and I understand where other guys coming from that had Nikola Jokic like I said, I understand from both arguments. If I had my pick, it would have been Luka, but it is what it is. Shout out to Jokic for winning your third MVP, bro. Moving on next. They just announced the lottery picks for the NBA draft coming up. The Atlanta Hawks got the number 1 pick, and since we in the DMV, I'm gonna go ahead and speak on the number 2 pick, which was won by the Washington Wizards. And this must be something in the water because the Commanders had the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, and then the Wizards turned around and had the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. The Wizards, I don't even know where to begin as far as what they need. They need a lot. They need everything. They need everything. It was a horrible year for the Wizards. They just in like complete rebuild mode. And like with them, I think you can't go wrong drafting any position. They just gotta build a culture there, and just bring somebody in that kind of. They need somebody that's an alpha. They need somebody that's gonna make other guys want to come to Washington and play, and build this thing up the right way. Because right now it's a train wreck. I didn't even heard rumors of them moving the Wizards out of DC. Hopefully it's not true, but it's a train wreck there right now. So I'm gonna go ahead. I looked up the last 3 top 5 picks that the Wizards had. So the first one, everybody knows, John Wall. They took him number 1 overall. John Wall was a 5-time All-Star, All-Rookie First Team, and Slam Dunk champion. Everybody know what John Wall meant to the Wizards when they brought him in. He kind of like picked it up after the Gilbert Arenas era. But John Wall had some solid years here in Washington. Took him to the playoffs a few times. They went to about like the second round. I don't think they didn't never make it to an Eastern Conference Finals, but when John Wall was here, they was always one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference with him and Bradley Beal. So that's one of the guys. That's somebody who I feel like Washington needs to come and start building a culture in Washington. They haven't had that since John Wall. So if you can find somebody in the draft like that, then that'll be outstanding. The second one, we just spoke on his name, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was a top 5 pick for Washington. He was a 3-time All-Star. He also was a All-Rookie First Team. So like I said, when Bradley Beal and John Wall was here, they was able to kind of like build that culture. Like I said, they took over after that Gilbert Arenas, that era. But for the years that they was here, they held it down. Like I said, they got the Wizards to the playoffs. The Wizards was always a top seeded East team when Bradley Beal and John Wall was here. They never quite made it to like that Eastern Conference Finals. That threshold, but they was always in the playoffs. Always one of the most explosive teams to watch. And they got to they peak was always the second round. Around those times, I always felt if Washington was to just get like a superstar to team up with them two, I felt like Washington could have came out the East. When KD left the Thunder and ultimately decided to go to Golden State, I was praying that summer that he came to Washington and teamed up with Bradley Beal and John Wall. I felt like they would have been able to come out the East and possibly make a finals run. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. We all know KD went to Golden State, and everything is history from there. The third player that was a top 5 pick for Washington was Otto Porter. I kind of felt like Otto Porter was a little bit of disappointment. They brought him in, paired him with John Wall and Bradley Beal, but Otto Porter never really panned out to that hype. The player that he was in Georgetown, he never really panned out to that hype. He ended up winning a championship later on in his career with Golden State, but the main 2 factors was the first 2 names, John Wall and Bradley Beal. Like I said, if you can land those kind of guys, when you do get an opportunity to pick in the top 5 of the draft, that's not bad at all. Wizards, for some reason, they've been bad for like the last probably about 5 seasons. But for some reason, every time they bad, they never can manage to get a top 5 pick. It's always like the 9th pick, the 10th pick, 7th pick, 6th pick. It's never been in the top 5. So this year, They have an opportunity. They're the number 2 pick. They have an opportunity to maybe grab a cornerstone player, somebody who they can build in their franchise and, help build this thing back up. The mocks that I've been seeing, who teams have Washington possibly selecting at the number 2 picks, is and I'm sorry if I mess these names up. These guys are from like France and stuff like that, so their names are a little, but I'm gonna try as best as I can. So bear with me. First name is Alexandre Sarr, power forward center from France. I think he's gonna go number 1. They kind of like comparing him to Wembanyama. I think he may end up going number 1 to Atlanta. 7'1". He could stretch the floor. Good around the rim. He seemed out of the 3 names that I'm gonna say, I feel like he's the one. He looks like he's the most pro ready. From what I've seen, he's good around the rim. He could block shots. Very aggressive. He seems the most pro ready out of all of them. Out of the 3 names that I'm gonna say, so I feel like Atlanta will take him number 1. Now these are the 2 names that's more than likely that are landing in Washington. The first one, and excuse me, bro, I'm gonna try my best, is Zachary Richer. He's a small forward from Spain. I watched him a little bit. He gives me more so of a project. He gives me more so of a project type of player. Solid on the defensive end. He can hit shots. Good around the rim. So I think he averaged about 11 points. So like I said, he'll be more so of that project type of player. And also this last one is Nikola Topic, point guard. He's from Serbia. He's another one. He averaged 15 points, and I can't remember the assists off the top of my head, but he's another one I seen. He kind of gave me like Ricky Rubio vibes. One of those guys would be a true point guard, facilitate the ball. He can hit open shots. I seen him hit a couple threes, go to the cup, get to the basket. Very aggressive. One of those guys, he can kind of blow past you. He kind of got like that smooth, that quickness with him, that twitch with him that catch you off guard. But he kind of gave me like a Ricky Rubio kind of vibe when I seen him. But he's more so of a project too. That's the scary thing about drafting these guys from overseas, because it's like you really don't know what you're gonna get. But so, you got guys like Wemby last year, you got guys like Luka who you kind of knew what you was gonna get, but sometimes it could be like real tricky. So with those 3 guys, I mean, if I'm Washington, they can go either way. I think it's all gonna be based on what Atlanta does with that first pick. But I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I watched these guys a little bit. Kind of seem like I said, the last 2 names, they'll be more so projects. The first name, and so I feel like he's the most pro ready out of all of them. So we'll see come draft time what the Wizards decide to do, and then we'll come back and speak on that. My last subject, I told you I'm not going to keep y'all on. It's going to be quick. My last subject is the game I just watched. The Pacers blew out the Knicks by 32. Like, it wasn't even close. That shit was terrible. Inning score 121-89. It looked like the Knicks just laid down. I think the Knicks had a shot to win Game 3. Very close. It came to basically, if you want to say, a last minute heave from half court to basically put the Knicks out. Dante DiVincenzo played great the last game. Jalen Brunson he wasn't his normal self, but he was okay. Missed the game. I think it was the game tying 3, but this game right here wasn't even close. Like, the Pacers came out early, and honestly, from what I seen from the Pacers, it don't even look like they stars or they players like really did anything special. I just felt like the Knicks couldn't make shots, and I feel like once the Knicks couldn't make their shots and they went into halftime down about, I think, 28 at half, I just think they laid down at that point. Tyrese Halliburton gave you 26 and 5. He was 8 of 15 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3. He was a plus 31, but like I said, that's really nothing special from Halliburton. Miles Turner gave you 13 points, 5 rebounds. He was 5 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3. He gave you 3 blocks. He was a plus 24. All their starters was in the plus. We speak on the plus minus. Naismith gave you 8, but he gave you 12 rebounds. He was plus 23, and then Siakam gave you 14, 4 rebounds. He was plus 23. Like I said, they really didn't give you anything too special to think like, damn, they beat the Knicks by 32. It was just the Knicks came out there, and it looked like they had no energy, no effort. It looked like they laid down. I think that game 3 took a lot out of them because they really had an opportunity to win game 3, and they just ended up coming up short. The Pacers got 57 total bench points. TJ McConnell had a solid game. He gave you 15 points and 10 assists, a double-double. And to see TJ McConnell giving you 15 points, you know he's more so of a pass first point guard. So he gave you 15 points. That's huge production off the bench. Obi Toppin gave you 14 points, and Isaiah Jackson gave you 10 points. But like I said, it was nothing really too special that I seen from the Pacers. By the way, this is the best series in the second round to me personally. I really enjoy watching this series. But like I said, they really didn't do too much that would make you think that the Knicks would lose by 32. It's just the Knicks just came out and laid down. Brunson gave you 18 points, 5 assists, but he went all 5 from 3. DiVincenzo gave you 7 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He went 3 of 13 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Josh Hart, 2 points, 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3. McBride gave you 6, but this was like garbage time for real. As far as, like I said, they was blowing them out so bad. I think Tibbs wiped his bench out in I think like the end of the third quarter. I don't think Brunson and them played the entire fourth quarter at all. It was no point. The game was over really in the third quarter. McBride gave you 16, 6 or 7 from the field, 3 11 from 3. I seen him throwing up some bricks too, though. So most of his points probably came from garbage time. But Burks gave you 20 points. He went 5 of 11 from the field and 2 of 6 from 3. That's good for them just going back home because ever since they traded for Burks, they got him from Detroit. He really haven't been playing. I think the injury to my man Anunoby, I think that kind of forced them to play Burks. But Burks is one of those guys. He can come in and give you offense. I like his game. For him to give you 20 points, they had 50 total bench points. I think that's good heading into the rest of the series. But I'm gonna tell you though, the Knicks, for all my Knicks guys, and I got some Knicks guys that I'm cool with, y'all might be in trouble because I'm going to tell you, that OG Anunoby injury is huge and it's showing. Like, it's really showing. I think OG Anunoby, see, what people got to understand is, and I always say this, I said this some episodes back, with OG Anunoby, he's one of those guys that he does those things that don't show up on the stat sheet all the time. He's that guy. You can go ahead and tell him, go ahead and get Tyrese Halliburton, make it hard on Tyrese Halliburton. Go ahead and whoever's the hot guy on the floor for Indiana, you can put OG Anunoby on him, and he's one of the best defenders in the league. He could take him out of a game. Also, he can hit pick and pop threes as far as open corner threes. He a set shooter. He's a good shooter. He can give you something on the offensive end, crashing the boards. He's one of those players. He does a lot of the dirty work, and those type of guys, those type of players, all that their stats they're not gonna make all-star games. They're not gonna be they're not them type of guys. But what they do on the floor shows up. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but it's impactful to a team. When he got hurt, I think it was game 2. It was game 2. When he got hurt, I said that's gonna hurt the Knicks a lot, but. You know how they get in Madison Square Garden, the crowd gonna be rocking. You know, Jalen Brunson, he's not gonna come out and have another game like this. I don't think DiVincenzo is gonna come out and have another game like that. Josh Hart, that Madison Square Garden crowd should energize them. But I'm gonna tell you, if the Pacers win game 5, the Knicks are going home. I'm not saying that they going to. I'm just throwing that out there. If they go, because remember, they almost stole game 1. It was some questionable calls in that game that ended up making Indiana lose, but they almost stole game 1. If Indiana can go in there and sneak one, then I'm going to tell you, New York, y'all in trouble. But we got to find out and see, and we'll just go from there. So like I said, this is a short little episode. I just wanted to come holler at y'all. Like I said, this is the Chatting with Cheese podcast. Don't forget to like, share the content, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We on our way to 100 subscribers. Do not forget to follow all the social media accounts: X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. They'll all be posted to the video in the description. And y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. And once again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Appreciate it.